Today I'm going to be talking about the cost of owning a basic phone. We're going to be talking about three different areas: the initial cost, the ongoing cost, and the conclusion whether it's a net gain or a net loss compared to different devices in the market. Of course, there's a lot of variation, and I'm going to be talking about it from different perspectives. There are timestamps in this video if you want to jump into a certain section. So let's get started with initial costs. When it comes to the initial cost, I want you to think about two things: price and support. The more you pay, usually you'll get the more support. That's not necessarily the case with everything, and I have compiled a database for basic phones where I give my recommendations based on price and support. So make sure to check it out on the link below. But I'll give you an example. Whenever you buy an iPhone, usually even the low spec ones for $499 are going to outperform the very cheap Android phones in support, updates, and security. The same thing goes for basic phones. You have basic phones like the Nokia 2720V, $79 plus tax. Great, very cheap device, but it's not seeing updates from KaiOS or from Nokia. And actually, which is a separate video on KaiOS, it's seeing updates that remove features. So not all the time the cheaper one will come out on top. On a different spectrum, the Phone 2 costs $299, and yes, that is expensive, but it has seen constant updates, listening to feedback, and it's just getting better and better. Same thing goes with different companies. Make sure to check them in the spreadsheet below. So while the initial cost can vary, you need to really think about how much you're spending, how much you're going to keep this device, and the support that you're going to get. So I'm going to give different examples here for low spec devices and high spec devices, but the initial cost can range on a very good supported basic phone from $100 to $300. On a smartphone, a very well-supported basic phone will run you for $349, which is a Google Pixel, to $1,000, which is on the iPhone. So there you see very good budget devices that get supported, and also premium devices that get supported on the different spectrums. A premium device and also a more basic device with different capabilities. On the spreadsheet, there's a lot of other features as well. It's on Airtable, and you can check it out on the link below. Now, after you have determined the initial cost, you need to move into ongoing cost. Is it better to use a basic phone than a smartphone? Well, most of the time it is. And let's talk about plans, carriers, and compatibility. So the second area is carriers and compatibility. When you think about smartphones, they will usually need, not necessarily, it's not required, but they will usually need a data plan, which is something like talk, text, and data. There are different carriers all throughout the world, and of course your cost will differ based on the device that you get. But let's say that you get a very basic unlimited data plan from a major carrier. If you go the major carrier route, that will cost you somewhere between $40 to $60 for one line. And if you go all the way into a family plan, let's say 4 people, which is the average family, it will cost you somewhere in between $30 per person. That is with a major carrier. Let's say you go with a mobile virtual network operator, which is essentially carriers that rent the towers from the major networks, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. You can get an unlimited data plan for about $25 for 4 people, or about $20 to $40 depending on the network and depending on the compatibility on a single line plan. Now, this translates also for basic phones and also for smartphones. But basic phones do not need a data plan. Most of the time you're buying a basic phone because you don't want data or you don't want to use the internet. Therefore, it's going to cost less. The most basic plan for unlimited talk and text, just the bare bones, costs about $9. $10 US with taxes and everything else. So you're saving an average of about at least $10 to $15 with even the most basic plans. I personally use the Verizon network, which has a special plan for the Phone 2, which costs only $10. I cannot even put that plan on the Nokia devices. So even having a Nokia device, let's say you buy this for $79, is going to cost you at least $30 to $35 on the Verizon network. Whereas my Phone that cost me $299 is only going to cost me $10 unlimited talk, text, and data because of the special plan that this has on Verizon. So essentially, it's a way better deal to have a basic phone on the ongoing costs. Of course, you need to really think about what phone you're getting and the updates that you need. Think about the features. Do you want to use your basic phone only for talk and text, or do you also want a couple of convenient features like podcasts or a camera or sharing pictures? You will need data for that. But even if you use the very basic major networks or MVNOs of your country, you will save on average $10 to $15 even on the most basic plans. I have a plan with US Mobile for my work phone that is talk, text, and 1 gig of data, and that costs about $15. I can even go cheaper on other carriers, but the reason that I chose US Mobile is because of the network compatibility with Verizon. I like it better, that's just my personal choice, but there's also, on that spreadsheet that I mentioned, a lot of carrier options that you can take a look. These are not mine, I copied them from Stetson Doggett, which is an amazing YouTuber that explains plans, networks, and everything that you need to know when it comes to compatibility. So make sure to check his channel out. So again, owning a basic phone overall is going to decrease your cost per month, even if everybody owns it, or even if you're the only one that owns it. I have a family plan that has a lot of smartphone users, and I'm the only basic phone user, but that one cost me less, and even they pay $35. I pay $10, so I'm saving $25 on average every month by being in the best network in this country, personally, in my opinion, at least for my area. So when it comes to the initial cost and when it comes to the ongoing cost, having a basic phone will usually cost less. Now let's get to the conclusion and talk about a couple of pointers. So as we see on our chart, usually owning a reliable smartphone and a reliable plan will cost you about twice as much over 5 years than owning a basic phone with a basic plan, even if that phone has unlimited talk, text, and data on the different networks. There are a lot of components that I can talk about here, about price, whether a company should be profiting too much or too little, but that is a debate probably for the comments. I see a lot of people that are usually adamant and say, basic phones shouldn't cost this much, only $100, but you really have to take into account support, you have to take into account the price, and you have to take into account whether you're going to keep that device for a long term. So for example, I'll give you an example, just a quick one. An iPhone usually costs about $490 to make, and they sell it for about $1,000. That is the high premium ones. And the Light Phone 2 maybe costs probably 100, 150 range. I'm giving an estimate. I have more details on that if you want to get some extra information. But then you have to think about the cost, the ongoing cost of support, whether they're going to update the device, and they have been updating this device for the past 2 years. So my initial investment of $200 and so dollars, $299 if you buy it brand new, it's warranted because you're getting the best support, you're getting bug fixes, and you're getting more features over time. So really think about what device you want to get. Check out the spreadsheet. I have my recommended devices in there, the devices that see updates, the devices that come from companies that are responsible on the basic phone spectrum. And of course, you also have plans to check out there for compatibility. If you have any other questions or anything else, make sure to put it in the comments below. I'll be making some extra videos that are a little bit more meta in the basic phone spectrum and not necessarily only about the reviews of the devices, but there are some interesting reviews coming your way in a couple of weeks, specifically the Mudita Pure. So stay tuned to the channel. Thanks for watching, and any comments, I'll be interacting with you guys. See you in the next one.